Welcome back, guys. What's up? Welcome to another live stream. How's everyone doing? Wednesday, another slow day, another compression day of seeing the dollar moving to the upside, again getting into the next level, euro, pound, and so on, moving a little bit more to the downside. Actually, pound moved much more because of the CPI this morning. So, welcome. In this stream, we are looking for the best opportunities for tomorrow trading session. I look at different assets, FX indices, commodities, a little bit of crypto as well. So feel free to share with me what levels you are looking for, what opportunities, and if you want me to look at any specific asset, feel free to let me know as well, and you can look at it together. All right, so again, it just continues to go to the upside. Right? But before I start with the charts, let's just take a look at the news. So today we had CPI in the UK, right? This is something that we were aware of, the potential divergence, the potential move more in the pound pairs, and definitely we saw that. We saw that on the pound dollar, pound CAD, euro pound, that respected that demand and it went to the upside, as we were talking and mentioning, and also pound house as well moving downside. So the CPI was better than expected. It came out at 1.7 instead of 1.9, and the core at 3.2 instead of 3.4, right? And the CPI like this, basically, I believe is going to give more strength for the Bank of England to cut perhaps 50 basis points instead of just the 25 basis points that is maybe priced in already for the next meeting. So yes, this may help to give more strength or more validation for the bigger cut rate in the next Bank of England meeting. I think it's going to be somewhere in November. I think it's going to be November. I'm not sure when this is the next one. Aside from that, not really much. Again, it was another day without any big news event in the US, and those are going to start coming in tomorrow. So tomorrow I have an unemployment rate in Australia, so that's 32 in the morning. We are going to take a look at it as well, which continue to move to the downside. Then you have final CPI in here in the Eurozone, and there you go. Like the main catalyst of the week is going to be the ECB press conference. Again, expecting a 25 basis points rate cut from the ECB, and then of course paying attention to the Christine Lagarde's press conference to see again what can expect for the future as well. We finally have some news in the US. We are looking at core retail sales and retail sales, and the unemployment claims, which was quite high last week at 258, way above the expectation. And if this number continues to be higher, then that's going to be a concern for the Fed, because again, they are looking for unemployment to be at around 4.4% maximum. Last NFP it actually dropped from 4.1, if not mistaken, to 4%. However, now we are seeing these numbers of unemployment claims starting to increase. If this is now becomes a pattern and not just a one-off, that becomes a concern in here. And then then on Friday we have retail sales in the UK. What's up, KK? Welcome to the stream. Feel free to let me know how I can help you and any charts that you want me to look at. And don't forget to subscribe. All right. All right. Now, let's take a look at the charts, right? And again, the focus tomorrow is going to be the ECB. Now, dollar has been making this move to the upside. Like, this was something that we talked about. This was something that we were looking for initially, for potential some reaction around this level. We had the reaction, price kind of paused a little bit, but it never really managed to break any lows. Even today, it moved to the downside, but again, it didn't manage to break any low. It just continues to move to the upside. Like, we created basically two separations, one in here and the other one a little bit in there. And we talked about it, right? That was 2 weeks ago. We mentioned that maybe price from here will just make a small fake out, and then continue to the upside, keeping this space open for the future, which eventually is going to be one of the targets to look for. As price now breaks this high in here, we are looking for price to have potentially some reaction from above this level, or eventually from the next structure, which is somewhere around here, and eventually can even go a little bit more to the upside, right? But there you go. This high basically was already a break in here. We had the reactions that we had, but price never even managed to break any structure. And we just had the continuation in here on the dollar. And yes, tomorrow, now that it broke into a new level, basically we had all this move to downside. It started from here with this separation. All right. So basically the same separation that we're having here is the one that maybe you can have around here. Which means that now price can actually start to find some more sell pressure, at least around this structure. We had also a previous level support resistance in here, and if price eventually wants to continue to go higher, it can. Now looking at the daily candles, so just to have an idea how many bullish candles we have already in a row in here, like basically we are moving to the upside since the beginning of October. This is already 15-16 days just moving in one direction. And there you go. We finally managed to take that level. We have been printing daily candles for quite some time now. We have a little bit of two bearish candles in here, but that's basically it. Two dodges. And aside from that, it's just a pure momentum to the upside. This is the weekly candle as well. The third week that looks like it's going to be bullish. But tomorrow, everything can change a little bit. So we'll see what's going to happen tomorrow. So that's what we're going to be looking at. What you can see as well in here, right, is basically during this move to the upside, price has been reacting from every single demand zone, which makes them a little bit weaker whenever price eventually decides to turn. Like, so we have this demand zone, basically in here, starts with breaks. And we have this demand zone. And then price goes up, reacts from here as well. Price goes up, reacts from the next low, and starts moving up as well. And now we have perhaps this structure, which basically price already reacted from here. And then you have the other level in there. Hi Nestor, how are you? Yeah, then we have that demand zone. Basically, this one already reacted from it, and then you have this one reacted from it, and then you have the next one somewhere, maybe somewhere in here. There's maybe still fresh orders that price and the dollar index can react from. Aside from that, as soon as we start breaking below that structure, we can start having all this spice in here to fill. Right, and then going below this wall, I don't really think there's anything left in here, and this is when you start aiming for price to get into this level. So that will be now the new structure that you can keep an eye on to see if you're going to have a break or not. Even in here, even in the lower time frame, as price continues to move higher, you can see a little bit of this compression in here as well. So that's going to be interesting. Again, I'm going to continue to follow, to track this level, respect it. Again, as a counter trend trader or reversal trader, it's important to stay patient. It's important to visualize to see if you do have a break of structure or not, especially if you want to try to trade double tops or eventually double bottoms, if it will be the opposite scenario. In this case, for example, trying to trade the euro dollar long. You can trade the first high, the first move to downside. You can try to catch it. It's a different type of EA that you need to see to try to catch straight away the first drop. But the second one, in terms of double tops, that's a little bit tricky. That's something that we can avoid, especially if you do not have that break, the downside or break of structure. Otherwise, just let price continue to move higher, and until eventually we continue to see more weakness, and you go again in here. So this is a typical zone 3 type of a move that you are creating. All right, and eventually we're going to get into a level where we're going to have a little bit of a bigger turn in here. So that, again, it's going to be what I'll be looking for tomorrow. In terms of the US indices, today you have a little bit of a reaction to the upside. Basically, price kept respecting now this structure. This is the first level as well that we looked for on the S&P. After that big sell-off, price basically now gaining the momentum and potentially retracing this level. Again, we didn't really manage to break below this structure, which was the one that managed to make this last push to the upside. It's going to be interesting to see. We did found a few levels in there at the highs that price could still react from as price is approaching them, but we definitely need to see some PA as price is approaching that level in here, right? This is basically one of the targets to look for now for the first longs, where this compression started, and then you get into that level, and you'll see price kind of creates some PA at around this level. Maybe you can look for a double top in there. Otherwise, just flat price maybe creates a new high now that you have basically a double top in here, and then you can create some liquidity potentially to look for more sell opportunities. Otherwise, just wait for price to continue to create some kind of compression, maybe even price to break some kind of lows in here on the way up, or create a little bit of a range. That would be ideal. right? So then you could have that kind of move and push price again. Like that would be ideal. Perhaps price could react from the lower edge of this level, and then you have a little bit of a spike into more of this zone before having a turn again. But since we didn't really manage to break neither a new low from here, that's something that we need to be concerned in terms of selling the both tops in there. All right, Nasdaq made a little bit, as you can see, Nasdaq actually made a new low in here today, and it's managing to break out this structure. So it's slightly different. Again, Nasdaq is still reacting from those highs on the left side, and it starts to print a little bit more of a bearish move in here. Okay, so we did manage to break this low, so that's done, and price actually reacted nicely from this level. Previous level support resistance as well in there, but now we broke into this structure in here, and eventually could target these lows in here. Now, price can definitely go higher first. We also have a little bit of new structure now created in here. So any PA around this level eventually can be used as liquidity to push the downside, or price may just goes under test and challenge the highs again. All right, so price can perhaps just do something like this and go again. All right, so eventually getting into this level, and then from here, depending on the PA that you have, we can look for that turn, or price might find some kind of liquidity around this level and just push the downside without making a bigger move. Perhaps you do have this level in here that price could react from and push the downside as well. So those are a few zones in here on the Nasdaq, something to keep an eye on. Again, we continue with the earnings seasons throughout this week and even next week as well. Actually, throughout the rest of the month of October. So yeah, something to keep an eye on. And of course, the election, also Trump apparently is leading the polls at this point. It looks like that he gained some advantage now. At least that's what the polls are saying. So that's also something to keep an eye on, of course, in here, especially for the US indices and the dollar as well. Dow managed to break the low. So interesting enough, he broke the low, but then retested straight away the left shoulder. That actually makes it a little bit of a bullish setup instead of an engulf the downside for now. So this actually taking out the low, but then reacting eventually from the left shoulder, that makes it a bit bullish. And I'm looking for the Dow actually to take this high in here, so to create new all-time highs, and then perhaps we can start looking for further move to downside. But for now, actually, this actually is a really great engulf to the downside that we have in here. Yep, that's actually something to keep an eye on because that's a good one. All right. Yeah, but that price created a new high in here, and then we can look for new sales. Also, the DAX is ranging a little bit, so it broke the highs, but now it's respecting these lows. It kind of still retesting kind of the structure in there, and you have those two levels in here. They're basically the same that we talked about yesterday, and I could still see some reaction from it, right? So it's somewhere around this level or a little bit more in there. Again, depending on the type of PA that you have. Perhaps price eventually, when it breaks this level, is going to use this level as a continuation setup, kind of a breakout until it gets closer to this level in here, right? So that's something to bear in mind. Is price going to use or respect this level to push lower? Not really sure at this point. Price respected this low. So again, I would like to see price getting closer to this extreme, and depending on the PI, we could look for shorts in there. Crypto, it just continues to move to the upside after yesterday's big sell-off and then kind of reaction and jumping to the upside again. There's a little bit more space in here that crypto can go towards to. All right, you're looking for the 69 mark at around this level, and eventually you can even go higher. Now all of a sudden we are literally super close to the all-time highs, right? This will react perfectly from this overall range in here, and now yeah, gaining the momentum to the upside. Ethereum is not really moving as much to the upside as Bitcoin. Is still within this range. It also created the same liquidity up and down, but now it's more of a waiting time to see what's going to happen next, since it reacts from that low, from these highs, but it respected straight away the next level of structure, and now we need to see what's going to happen next from here, right? It's going to trade a little bit more in this range for 1 or 2 days, or going to get some kind of momentum. If you go higher, then you start looking for price to go eventually even towards this level in here as well. So I haven't really looked at it for a while, but yeah, good reaction from here, and now it's reacting from those levels. And now we're looking at the currency indices and looking at the euro index, right? So it stays the same. We have a lot of compression being created in here. We have slightly new lows. Price is still retesting this structure in here, but definitely we have perhaps some kind of trend line being created in here at around this euro index. And this is the one that's going to matter the most for tomorrow, right? Again, we could have that fake out being created. So we could perhaps take these lows before moving to the upside. We kind of left a little bit of a demand zone in here. But it is still missing a proper engulf to the upside from this at least trend line and from this high as well. Right, so that's still missing. We have that engulf in there, but price just respected straight away. Again, I've been looking for price eventually to get closer to these lows as well. But at this point, we need to pay attention also to the euro. I think I would like to see euro eventually having a turn tomorrow. It is being bearish for quite a long time. Now that you broke that structure, you'll see in a bit on euro dollar. Going to start looking for potential opportunities to go long, especially because we also have such a strong compression that eventually price could turn. But the reality again is that price hasn't really managed to break any key highs. It's the same thing on the dollar index. So that's something to bear in mind. If you do find price reacting from a good level on the left and then starting to show that PA, it can happen quite quickly. Again, the compression is quite clear, and it has been created for a long time. And that can also, again, if you're about to have a big news event and you have compression happening for a while now, that's the best kind of buys that maybe can look for price to fill out that compression when it turns, and nothing better than a big news event to do that, to help with that momentum as a catalyst. So yeah, let's see if you do manage to break below those lows or not. And then you have the N index, which was just in a range in here. So price hasn't really moved that much. It's still kind of getting closer to that high. Maybe already reacted from that level. Yeah, basically it reacted from that supply. So perfect, it filled out this range in here, and you do have this demand zone in here as well that you're looking for. That's one that we are aiming for price eventually to take these lows and see how price may react from here. But again, in order to become a bit more bullish in here, we definitely need to see at least a break to the upside from this level before price potentially can go to the upside, right? But we haven't really had that situation in here. So just cautious. At this point, we are still kind of bearish on the yen index, which means a bit bullish on the other yen pairs. It's just something to keep an eye on in here. But yes, this is a level that I like, and we'll see after that. All right, now jumping into the individual currency pairs. All right, and let's see if this time I'm actually recording the monitor and not it's going to be a black monitor like yesterday. Right, looks like it's working. So euro dollar, it just continues, right? So we have all this compression. As you can see, price is compressing for quite a while. We did finally manage to break that low that I mentioned that I wanted to see being broken. But my main concern in here is that I like to see, like, one of my favorite setups is actually price faking out a specific low like this, but I want to see price having some structure straight away in here. And to be honest, in here, we don't really have anything in particular. We have a little bit of a structure in here on the war time frame, but aside from that, that's not really anything that is there to hold price. We did manage to break again new highs in here. Okay, it is the structure. Price just reacts from that level in there. Then price starts to break the lows, and then we have the situation that we have. So again, we have some highs being taken, and that can be that tomorrow for a good. Again, I still want to see perhaps price getting a bit closer. So price is where it is right now. I just should take a look into it in the lower time frame in here. All right. So again, you do have this range that was created after those news in here. I'm not sure if this was NFP or something like that on the 2nd of August. If it was a Friday, then it was NFP. But we had this push up, price went down, and then start moving to the upside. Right, and then start creating momentum, and up it went. And now price is literally reacting from where it is right now in this line. This is price at this point. And we have this level, but I would like to see actually price maybe faking out that level and getting closer to something in here again. And all of a sudden we are getting into this structure in here. All right, that's a little bit more of a level that I wouldn't mind to start looking for longs in there. Or otherwise kind of price getting a little bit closer to here as well. Let's just take a look at it in the war time frame. So on the daily, we have basically this strong demand zone that managed to break out the structure, and price never really came back down to it. So that's still a fresh level that is in here. So that's something to bear in mind. As you can see on the daily time frame, this is the upper edge is within this high in here all the way through, which is basically that level on the war time frame that I just described. And then you have the other one within this level at the extremes in there. So would it make sense for the euro dollar to react from here? It could. In terms of the level itself, it's a good one because it's the one that we did manage to break slightly above that structure, but when it actually managed to break everything in here, it was from here. Right, so that's something to bear in mind. You do have some left shoulders in here that you can use, so that's good in here. Now, where is this low also reacting from? Right, so that's something that you can also pay attention to see if this low is also reacting from a good level on the left side, or did it already broke a structure, and maybe can eventually look for price to go even further down. So again, price is reacting from somewhere around this level, and there's actually kind of this structure in here actually below these lows. If price does want to break below that level, then you have the next structure in here, and this is something that you need to keep tracking. Like when you're looking for fresh levels, this is what you want to do. You want to start from the bottom. You can want to go all the way through, check which levels are still fresh, and then check if there's anything a little bit on the right side that price may have reacted from it or not, or broke it. And then if it broke it, then and the price doesn't really close the gap in here, then maybe the next level is the one that you're going to be looking for whenever price comes back into here. Right? But then you can go do the same thing again. Again, price now created this new structure, and it keeps going like that. Right? Again, for example, in this case, you could see price, this low already broke that important structure, which means that in the future, that's going to be a level that we are not really expecting price to react from here for that long, and eventually want to see this low being taken. That's why I wanted to see this low being taken on euro throughout this week in there, right? That's why I didn't want to look for longs as long as price was still above that level, right? Because now we broke that level, and now we create that specific gap that I mentioned on dollar index. It's the same thing, and price eventually is going to use this level as a target when it turns, and it just did it. So that's what you want to look for. Again, that's a low that's in there, so price may fake out just the low and then turn. That could happen as well. Sometimes it happens. That's something to bear in mind. So yeah, let's see. Euro continue to break. Again, you can see all this compression. At this point, price may have left this level a little bit behind. Let's just fix this a little bit in here. So that's something to bear in mind in here. Otherwise, price just moving. Again, tomorrow morning, London session. Again, looking at the daily time frame, there's already way too many bearish candles. Again, really strong since the beginning of October or end of September, and you are looking for price to get here. So that's definitely a level that we are going to be looking for, the euro dollar, to see some reaction from here and potentially start turning all the way. All right, and again, this is the first level that you need to pay attention to, and then the next one is going to be somewhere in there. Because in here, everything is compressed. Unless this level in here is a little bit fresh. Alright, so it's going to be either in there or a little bit more to the downside in here where I'm going to be looking for. So again, same thing. I've been repeating myself a little bit in terms of what I want to see, but the reality is that we are in this zone 3. Again, even on an intraday level, especially London session, you do find opportunities to go long on euro dollar, but again, avoid those double tops when you have a market like this. This is this typical zone 3 type of a move, something that I'm going to share with you guys in the next few days, a video that I just recorded. All right, pound dollar. Right, so pound dollar, it was the same thing. Like we talked about that. This was the one with the CPI. So we had a big sell-off opportunity. We had a big sell-off movement when the CPI came out. We talked about this one that looked like an engulf and a fake out of the structure, with price also to go all the way to take that low. So that happened. Price now just crashed completely. We had a little bit of reaction, good demand zone, but in my opinion as well, similar to the euro dollar, I don't really think this is the low that's going to keep holding price. I could still see price moving a bit more to the downside. Now I do have this previous level support resistance somewhere around this level into this structure. So that will be one of them, or perhaps price could also have some kind of reaction from here. So in this move in here, price went down, price created this structure, price started to a new compression from here, and that becomes a little bit of the structure that eventually when it breaks, it can matter, and maybe either price already reacted from it or not in here. All right. Otherwise, there are something in there. Otherwise, if not, price will just continue to move a little bit further down, and it would go like that. But now, something that is missing in here as well, similar to the euro dollar, is that it's missing a little bit of a deep retracement before a continuation. Like at this point, you don't really have any deep retracement on the pound dollar, neither on euro dollar during this move to the downside. Like, and it's kind of missing a little bit of that move, like similar to this, like price goes up, but eventually going to have a little bit of retracement before potentially continue to go up. At this point, you just have price moving to the downside. And now it just broke an important low, all right, which kind of looks more of a zone 4 type of a move. Now prices broke it, and after breaking this level, yes, you can maybe find something in here that could push price a little bit more towards a little bit of this extreme before potential price continue to move lower, or even fake out this level before potential price continue to move lower, going somewhere in here for that to happen, right? So that's something to bear in mind, and that's actually one of the main reasons that I'm still looking a little bit for a potential longs in here, is because we still haven't really got that retracement in here during this move, and usually we do have them, and prices just fall in a straight line like this. But there you go, and yeah, now looking for this one to break new lows as well, basically to respect the extreme of that level. Perfect. And now moving to the downside. Right, so yeah, continuation in here. And guess what, like the pair that we talked about that could benefit from this news between the pound and the euro, it was exactly the euro pound, and there you go. Right, so it reacted perfectly from that level that we talked about, a strong momentum to the upside. So it worked exactly as expected. It even broke slightly above this level, reacted from this fresh level in here, and we'll see if it's going to continue to resume to the upside. If breaking above this level starts open door to go further up, or this level actually is one of the last barriers that we have in here that could still push price a bit more to downside. And tomorrow, again, it's going to be another good day to potentially trade euro pound, since we're going to have ECB. We don't really going to have any news related to the pound, which means that it's going to be a euro type of a move. So that's something to bear in mind in here. And if I'm looking for the euro dollar eventually for potential longs in there, perhaps this euro pound also could find some bullish momentum if that's about to happen. Otherwise, if it's bearish, then we come all the way back in here and you'll see what's going to happen after that. Like, but really good reaction initially from this level, and then there you go. Good reaction in here on the euro pound. We can even look a little bit more into the lower time frame, and perhaps price could fake out this structure in there. Right, it's basically the last low. You could fake out a little bit and then continue to go higher. That's something that tends to happen as well in here. Now jumping into the Aussie, right? And we finally started to move a little bit more further down. Again, I never really liked the lows in there. Even the structure, as I mentioned, it could continue to move a bit more to the downside. It's already break off this level. Price even broke a little bit into this compression zone. So maybe not even this low is going to hold price, and we may continue just to navigate further down from here. Price is already going all the way into that structure. So that's a little bit of the demand zone that we have in here. So let's see a little bit on the bigger picture if this even makes sense or not. Look for an opportunity in there. Yeah, perhaps it's still a little bit fresh in this time frame. Even on the 4 hour, an hour doesn't really look that great. In terms of price movement, again, as you can see, price keep respecting the previous highs. Even in here, retraced, respected, continuation to the downside. So we don't really we have a strong compression in here as well. Again, tomorrow we have unemployment in Australia, which can create a little bit of volatility. It hasn't really created that much volatility in unemployment. I remember a few years ago when it was actually proper moves anytime there was news in Australia. But now that's not exactly the case. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if price kind of respects its level a little bit in here and starts turning to the upside. Perhaps it could. Otherwise, where are we going? Yeah, otherwise it could go all the way until there. Kind of already broke that one. Maybe something in here could also work. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen in here. Let's take a look between the war time frame in there. Right, so we have that level. That's basically where price is reacting. This is a candle. Okay, this is real. It's not the opening. Yeah, this is one of the lows, even though this one didn't never really managed to break structure. This one kind of broke in there. But this one actually managed to break structure to the upside. This one is just a continuation. From here, you actually managed to break a bit this level. All right. And have the extreme price respecting. There's this one from the edge. That one is a bit fresh. This is the first disconnection here. Price could go a little bit closer to that level as well. Yeah, and here looks like compress, 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 compress. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'd like to see price going a little bit close to the walls, at least, of course, to take this level in there. Yeah, definitely. Take that level in there, at least. All right. The other Aussie pairs, and looking first at New Zealand. So New Zealand also made a move to downside. We actually, I think, had CPI yesterday in New Zealand, so we made that spike down. All right, so we are still a little bit more bearish in here as well. I'd like to see price getting a little bit closer to this level, and I think that will be a good level to start looking for longs. It's just being patient at this point at where we are. Eventually could get a little bit closer to this. So let's see. Interesting enough, many of the dollar pairs are moving downside. New Zealand is kind of still holding. We'll see how price may react from this structure. Otherwise, just moving to the downside. New Zealand, I believe it can be getting closer as well to potential turn in here. Let's see if it's going to be tomorrow from there, or eventually price from here. I think that could be interesting. We're going to do it this one. Yeah, I do like that idea. EURUSD got really close to that level that I was looking for. Even fake out this level in here. So we'll see again tomorrow with the unemployment in Australia. Perhaps you can have a move in here, and then of course EURUSD in particular, we are going to have the ECB. So it's going to be interesting to see if this is going to be a zone to look for longs, all right, or a move down. Like this is another one that you need to pay attention to. Basically, price got really close to that level, if not even touch it. Maybe it's something in there to see if this is going to be. We did manage to break that high. Price kind of retested a little bit within this structure, and could be a continuation to the upside, to be honest, since price still respected those lows. So this could be a little bit more of a turn. But before that, of course, you need to break the high. So I can, that level is still a little bit fresh, and maybe can even have left a zone in here as well that price could react one more time before moving to the downside. Like, so that's something that we can also pay attention to on the EURUSD. The prices wants to move down from here. Pound Aussie, as expected, because of the pound news, like we had a really big sell-off in here, so it's a completely different type of a move at this point. So the big liquidity or the big move already happened in here. On the EURUSD may happen tomorrow in there, right? So we'll see what's going to happen as well. And yeah, so moving along, looking at the yen pair, so like starting with the Aussie yen as well. Kind of we had a continuation to the downside, so that's exactly what we were looking for as well. Unfortunately, price never really got where I was looking for. We did manage to break the trend line and prices range, and now moving lower and got really basically at the extreme in here. Basically, this was the demand zone from these lows, so that's done for now. Definitely just price taking below this double bottom in there. Really nice move, to be honest. And we'll see tomorrow if there's going to be a continuation or not to downside with unemployment, or if we're going to have price now pushing to the upside from here. This is a good level to potentially start looking for longs, right? But if price does break below that level, it's a level as well that can start showing indication to go further down, and it changes the dynamic in here. So yeah, that's a nice move of filling this space after all this strong compression. The yen pairs. So yeah, dollar yen is getting really close to this level. I'm actually still curious about this one in here. I could eventually continue to see a little bit more of a move to the downside, perhaps when the dollar index also is ready to do that, and depending on what the yen index is going to do. So price is reacting from somewhere in here. We can definitely still go a little bit more to the upside before looking for those big reversals on the dollar yen, and eventually can even get there, to be honest. So that's something to bear in mind. It's a nice compression. Price still definitely needs to break some structure, even though we did manage to break this low. That's good to see. Price did manage to break below that level. then retested it, and now moving to the upside. But yeah, we need to see some break to the downside in here now. I'd like to see this high being faked out, and then perhaps we could have a move like this tomorrow. So that's a possibility in here on the dollar yen, if the highs are actually about to hold in here. Yeah, I kind of like that that potential idea. Otherwise, price can just start moving a bit more to the upside. Euro yen today, it was just a compression move to the upside. And this is another one, again, another euro pair that at this point on this euro yen, I think it looks like that price could still move a bit more to the downside. It did manage to break below this low. So you could have perhaps a move up and then a move to the downside. So in terms of the euro yen, or one of these euro pairs, is perhaps a move to the downside. Euro Aussie also could continue to make another leg down. We have a compression to the upside, so we could also have a leg down. I'm just thinking about some of these euro pairs, what they can do. Euro pound made already the big move to the upside. Let's see how price is going to play out within that range. And euro yen and euro dollar, of course, has been moving down, and there's still definitely that space that needs to be filled to the downside. We'll see if that's going to happen overnight or eventually tomorrow. If price reacts from that demand zone that we looked at in the higher time frame, then I would start looking for potential longs. And that means that these ones in here can also move to the upside in there. Yeah, price now reacting from this kind of structure in here. Pound yen a little bit different again with the CPI. It filled basically this initial range in there. I could still see more move to the downside, to be honest. I didn't really like these flows, but it's okay where price reacted. We'll see price now start turning and moving again. We do have, of course, that previous supply in there as well. But you do have all these highs in here, which eventually, I would like to see. I would like to see them being faked out before a bigger turn, if that's about to happen. So let's see if that's going to happen or not, right? Because we do have a lot of structure in here that I would definitely like to see being faked out. Either like this or eventually just break and go. CAD yen, what's going on with CAD yen? Right, CAD yen is moving a bit more to the upside. We kept respecting that low. We don't really have a break below this level, and I'm still looking for price eventually to get there. So we'll see what's going to happen in here. Again, we definitely need to see some kind of weakness as price is approaching that level eventually. So break this level now, create some. So we need to break this level, create some kind of structure, and that structure is going to be important to see. If you do break that structure, it opens the door to go further down. If you keep holding it, price will just continue to go higher, right? So eventually you need to see some kind of lows being broken in there. The price perhaps can react from here, and then you could have one last attempt to go there, and then you could move to the downside. But again, you don't really have any break in here, so that's something to bear in mind. Otherwise, yes, otherwise I would like to see some kind of PA like this in here on the CAD yen. Yeah, because actually the high is also reacting from an interesting level, somewhere around this level, even though we kind of created a double bottom in here, price broke this highs. So eventually this could be a continuation, right? Because we never really managed to break below this low. So this could actually eventually be a continuation in here. Perhaps price could just react a little bit from this level, react from here, and then just continue to move to the upside. Right, that could happen as well. And the move that could happen as well is that now, or eventually in the future, is that now we do have this double bottom in here. All right, and this double bottom never really reacted closer to this level, right? So eventually we could have a move like this with price kind of jumping into this level and then turning again and resuming the move to the upside from here as well, right? So that's something to bear in mind on CAD yen in the bigger picture, right? This is more in the future, not now. Dollar CAD just resumed the move to downside. Like this was something that we were looking for, continuation to downside. Interesting enough, like I've been mentioning those 9 consecutive bullish candles, and yesterday price, which in the last minute, it made a last move to downside that ended up making the daily candle bearish. Like you can see, it's literally one of the last push down in there. in here basically price it just managed to break it, like which 5 minutes before just managed to break to kind of close below the we kind of turning into a bearish, which means that we we finally finished the sequence of daily bullish candles. Today it was more of a continuation day in here, so again across all the cut pairs, and we are still looking for price eventually to go all the way to fill this range. So it doesn't really change what you're looking for. Again, we are looking for that sell opportunity, and this is what trading is like. It's just finding some kind of edge or some kind of big opportunity, a setup that you can find, and it's about trying to find the execution. Like in this case, unfortunately for me, actually on the euro card, dollar card, I didn't really manage to take the trade. Price just turned quite quickly. I didn't really manage to get myself stop in there to catch the move. And I do like to trade a little bit extremes. I kind of struggle a little bit with these trades a bit more in the middle. But it is what it is. Like again, there's going to be more opportunities and setups like this. But this was literally a setup with a clear target to aim for. Like, and those are the ones that you can actually catch a really big, have a great risk reward if you do find them. They don't happen very often. They may happen like two every month or twice a month. But yeah, and this is just in one asset, right? Then again, you go across different assets and you can try to find those opportunities as well. Pound card, also great move, right? So on pound card, especially because of the UK CPI, it just created which even other sequence. Again, another one that went all the way to test this structure in here, all right? And again, another one that has been quite bullish, and all of a sudden in 2 days, it almost feels all this compression here. Like again, the power of compression, then eventually have the turn, and price is just free to go all the way through. And this is exactly what I mentioned in terms of big news going all the way through compression without really any difficulty whatsoever, because every buy order in here has been collected already, and we even have those being broken on the way up, and then all of a sudden we just have a strong move, and then the continuation goes again, same thing in here. So that was exactly also the beginning of that move. Actually, didn't pay attention, gave as much importance to the pound card as I should have, being aware also of the news in the UK today. I was more focused actually on the dollar card. Unfortunately, this one I would have actually managed to get in. I didn't really pay attention. I was just focused on the dollar card. Unfortunately, this one, as you can see, price didn't just turn in a single move. Price actually spent time a little bit in here, and this would have been the entry. In there, yeah, we do have a lot of structure in there. Price retesting after we do start breaking these lows, and that was, well, yeah, within this structure there was an entry definitely to be taken in there. Unfortunately, I didn't look at it in there. Yeah, so you can see as well, like again, strong compression. Euro card also moving, of course, not as much as the pound card, but it's also moving to the downside. Yeah, I didn't really pay attention to this now move, but there you go, continuation. On euro card, to be honest, I don't really see the level in there where it reacted. I like the liquidity, I like the compression as well that you had. This is basically which is zone 3 type of a move into a zone 4, and then price just turned as well, created another continuation pattern in here where break the lows, fake out the highs into this structure. Then as a continuation, again, this low is far from the final target or one of the potential final targets, with the continuation now looking for price to get into this level. So interesting enough, we have a little bit of a few bearish moves on the euro ahead of tomorrow's ECB. So yeah, and then in the bigger picture, if you're actually going to pay attention to it, this is already kind of a break of a low of another low. Like we are still kind of in this bearish move in here, but you may find some level of support or some buy orders at around this structure in here on the euro card. So that's something to bear in mind as well. Otherwise, price just is going to be filling all this price in here. Yeah. Our franc Swiss just continues, right? And this was exactly also what you're looking for. Since the break of the trend line, we start turning literally kind of a typical standard move in here in terms of breakout goals and continuation, and eventually we are looking for price to get into that target in there, kind of retest a little bit of this structure, and price is slowly just moving in that direction in here. It has been compressing a little bit, moving down, whatever it may be. On the bigger picture, the move is basically a little bit clear on what you are looking for in here. So yeah, that's a little bit of the next level that you can find some sell pressure. So that's something I'll be tracking in here. That eventually you can go all the way and take that high. Yeah. Yep, so it just continues to go. Again, looking at the daily time frame, it's also, yeah, there's a few bearish signs in there, but it's just moving upwards in alignment with the dollar index as well. Gold, interesting enough, it didn't manage to take the high, so it was so close to take the all-time high, and it still respected that level, and it moved to downside, now reacting from this demand zone. So again, definitely it's a way to attract more people into sales, which if price now reacted from after a supply level in there. We could see, I wouldn't mind actually to see a little bit more of reaction from here, and eventually or get a new double top in there, and then eventually we're going to have all this liquidity being taken. Right, so there's no question marks about that. Basically, that liquidity is going to be eventually taken, but for now, I wouldn't be surprised if you do respect this level one more time until eventually going to have that move, right? In there, we didn't even manage to break below that level, so. What else? Yeah, silver, great reaction. All right, so great reaction from that fresh supply level in there. Today you can see that it's fresh above these highs. Price just literally reacted from it and now moving to the outside, and you have this range where we're going to be trading at. Above that, then perhaps something in here. Otherwise, we'll go all the way to the highs. Yeah, but good reaction again. Potentially continuation to the upside. Price just filling all this range that we have in here at this point. So that's something to bear in mind. Again, but continuation eventually can happen depending on what the price respected this level as well in here. So yeah, so let's see. As long as gold also is kind of testing those highs, silver I believe is going to continue to make a bit more pressure in here to the upside. Even though I do like where silver actually reacted on the left side, which eventually can even fill out this. Right, so again, you are still bullish a little bit more in this scenario. And then oil is one that we're starting to potentially look for longs. So we talked about that scenario where yesterday price could take slightly this high. I was looking for price actually to react from here and move to the downside. So we plan out exactly that move, but I still want to see oil getting a little bit closer before a turn. So that's a little bit of what I'll be looking for. Again, price can still react from here and push a little bit more to downside, a bit closer into this level, right? And that's exactly the potential long opportunity that I want to find on oil, as price now creates this range. So let it accumulate a little bit of liquidity across this level, creating some buy pressure in here until we eventually fake out those lows, and then you get perhaps getting closer into this level, and you can look for those long opportunities in here. And Brent, I believe, is doing exactly the same thing. All right, so we are looking for price eventually to get a little bit closer into here. Let's just create this range. We already have a little bit of a break to the upside. Eventually price can even go higher, but yeah, eventually to go all the way, take this level, and then move to the upside after that. Right, so that's a little bit of what you'll be looking for as well in here. And that's basically it, right? So that's basically it. Let's just review in here a little bit the euro pairs. We have euro, dollar, continue to move to the downside. We have euro pound, euro card moving to the downside. We have euro Aussie that made a little bit of a move up, but can eventually fill this range. Okay, depending on how price may react from here, it could just resume the move upwards. Right, so it could resume the move upwards from there. It depends on what you're going to see. Right, so it depends on what you're going to be looking at. What else? You have euro pound. Yeah, euro pound that reacted from that demand zone and eventually could continue to move to the upside, like after respecting this level. Something to bear in mind in here, which eventually could go all the way towards there. Yeah, just trying to see if there's a possibility of which one of these euro pairs can give a bias in terms of what to expect for tomorrow. I could still see that that turn. Right, I want VHV to see the euro, and the catalyst in here can be also the euro, but sometimes you can get the big clue or a great clue from the other euro pairs. But in this case, I want to see the euro dollar getting closer into this level, right, before any longs. That can happen overnight until eventually tomorrow morning you can have a move. Then you'll see for the ECB. They have been so bearish in here on the euro that I think it's about time to eventually have a turn. If price just wants to completely go further down, then we go. Then we can get a little bit more closer to this level. What's up, Brijamon? How are you? Yeah, man, I'm good. Just finishing the stream. Trying to see what to look for tomorrow for the ECB. Where I would like to start looking for longs on the euro, across the euro pairs. What are you trading euro as well? What pairs are you trading? So just conclude with this. Oh yeah, it's true. Sorry, man. Sorry. Oh, yeah. You're on the break. All right. Yeah, you were about to add me, I think, on Discord, but you never did, or at least you never connected. Yeah. All right. Are you missing trading yet or not? Life is not good now. Why are you saying that? You're looking for a job, right? And it's just a phase, man. Anything in life is just a phase. Just try to do the best you can to deal with the situation, to overcome the situation, create good habits. At least it's something that makes you feel better. Even though if you are in a difficult situation, at least if you start creating good habits, you are going to feel better with yourself. And eventually things are going to get better. Just keep... Ooh, okay. No, I'm not Jim. My name is Pedro. No, man, that's my username. Yeah, yeah. Any that's yeah. Any relationship when it ends can suck in a bit. Can be hard. But you can for sure overcome that situation as well. Take the lessons, try to understand what took to that moment, and yeah, move on from there as well. Yeah. Where can I see dollar index? Yeah. Well. All right, let's conclude. Let's conclude this stream. Trying to see where to look for on the euro index, dollar index. Is this small level in here on 15 minutes? Is that supply? All right, so we'll see. Yeah, man, let's switch my username. I literally copied from Discord. Not be wrong. All right. Yeah, we are friends. We are friends, man. Perfect. Yeah, man. Again, relationships, they are. It's hard to even make any comment without knowing what happened, but yeah, just think that it's for the best. And now enjoy this new period, because then eventually you're going to get into another relationship. So enjoy now that you are single. Take time to develop yourself, understand what you can do better for next time, and then yeah, enjoy your own company. Enjoy your own company. Do stuff that you couldn't do before. Do things that are more of your interest that maybe you couldn't do as many as before. Right. So to conclude and to resume this live trading session, our pre-market analysis for tomorrow's session, we had another continuation to the upside on the dollar and a continuation to the downside on the euro dollar. We had a bigger move on the pound because of the CPI. It came out lower than expected at 1.7 instead of 1.9, and the core at 3.2 instead of 3.4. What this means is that most likely the Bank of England is going to feel more comfortable in cutting rates at a bigger pace, which means that most likely we can have a 0.5% of a rate cut instead of just a 0.25 in the next meeting. And the market may be already pricing in exactly that information. Tomorrow we have, in the morning, straight overnight, we have unemployment in Australia, but the main key data point or catalyst of the week is going to be the ECB press conference with Christine Lagarde expecting we have ECB press conference expecting another 25 basis points, and then we have the press conference from Christine Lagarde. It's going to be interesting to see what she's going to say, because the last time she spoke, it was in a ECB meeting, and actually in the Eurozone meeting, and that was the beginning of the big sell-off that we had on the Euro in the beginning of the month. So perhaps we're going to have a shift of direction in here. Again, the Euro has been moving to downside since the beginning of the month for now 16 days since then. Tomorrow we also have the first US news of the week. We have core retail sales, and the unemployment claims. Is going to be quite important because last week we had a bigger number than expected, and if this number is again surprisingly higher, that can start being a little bit of a concern for the dollar. So in terms of the opportunities, we have again dollar moving to the upside. It finally broke that high that we're looking for, and I'm going to be curious to see what's going to happen into the next structure. And we have still been a little bit bullish in here. We potentially looking for shorts, but price has been respecting every single low on the way up, so there's no break. So that's going to be the next level. I'm going to be looking for price to react from this next or previous level of support resistance into this structure, and perhaps you can find some selling pressure in there, which is the total opposite on the euro dollar. Now that price is getting into that demand zone, and that demand zone, that's where I'm going to be looking for longs or some buy pressure on the euro. Pound as well continuing to the downside, breaking lows, so we're going to be paying attention to that one as well. Aussie as well moving to the downside tomorrow with unemployment. Let's see if this low is going to hold price or not. Then looking into the yen pairs, basically yen index is just in this range. We have dollar yen getting really close to the highs. We have all the other yen pairs a little bit more in the middle. So at this point, I'm going to be tracking dollar yen for a potential short if the opportunity appears. Otherwise, I'll just let dollar yen continue to go slightly higher before looking for that short. In terms of the CAD pairs, it just continued to move to the downside as we anticipated 2 days ago, and there's still more room to the downside. So until it gets to the target that we are looking for, I'm not going to be looking for any reversals, or in this case longs. At the US indices, we have a retracement today. So after yesterday's sell-off, now price is reversing and getting closer to the highs again. I could still see new all-time highs in here on the S&P. Price never really managed to break these lows. So let's see how price may react from here. If it's going to be any kind of PI, look for a short or eventually new all-time highs. Now that you have a little bit of structure, looks like a nice zone to look for liquidity. Nasdaq did manage to break the low, so there's a little bit more of a bearish signs in here on Nasdaq. I could see Nasdaq feeling this price before even aiming to go to the highs or breaking the highs. So that's a nice one. Again, Nasdaq is still respecting those previous highs from July. Dow as well, I'm looking for price to break new all-time highs after this big correction. We did manage to break the low, but first I would like to see new highs being created before price respecting that break. DAX as well is moving a bit in the range. I could still see some selling opportunities at the highs, so that's something that I'll be looking for. Gold respected the all-time highs. Eventually I want to see those all-time highs as well being broken. I think this is just to attract more sellers into it until we eventually have the fake out of all of that structure. Euro pound, it was one that we saw the benefit of trading it when you have a week with news in the UK and then news in the Eurozone without really any news in the US. That's one of the perfect times to trade the euro pound, and we're looking at that demand zone. Perfect reaction this morning with the CPI in the UK. So that was a perfect move to the upside. So if you guys got that one, perfect. And tomorrow again we have the ECB, so it's going to be another opportunity to trade the euro pound. Now this time related more to the euro instead of the pound. So that's something to also pay attention in there. Oil, I'm still waiting for price to get a little bit lower before looking for longs. Price is pausing now, and I want to see a little bit more of structure being created eventually for price to create liquidity and reverse to the upside. So I still want to see oil moving slightly lower before looking for longs. And that's basically it. So just to summarize, again, euro dollar and the AUD euro pairs, I'm looking for price to go slightly lower, especially the euro dollar into that demand zone, potentially to for longs, and the dollar index is going to be the opposite of seeing price getting closer to these highs, to this structuring here before looking for a short. Indices that price get closer to those highs, and yeah, mostly the euro pairs tomorrow and oil that I'm going to be looking for longs if the opportunity appears in there. With that being said, thank you very much, guys. I'll see you tomorrow for another live stream. Subscribe to the channel if you're getting value, and if you want to discuss and analyze the market together and find opportunities. Again, the opportunities that you're looking for, they are playing out. We looked at dollar CAD, perfect sell yesterday, euro pound today, the euro and the dollar pairs. We are looking a little bit more with cautious. We are expecting this compression zone, and price is still not really in the moment of reversing until perhaps tomorrow is going to be the day to do that. So yeah, keep an eye on it. I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Thank you very much. Obrigado. Bye bye.